of this GIAN course on IoT and predictive control. So it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Altaf Badar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, NIT Warangal, as a resource person for today's session of this 5-day GIAN course on Internet of Things and predictive control. Dr. Altaf Badar has an extensive academic background, having completed his BTech and MTech from RTM Nagpur University and his PhD from VNIT Nagpur. His research interests span across several cutting-edge areas, including AI applications in power systems, deregulated power systems, energy trading and energy management, smart homes, energy forecasting, renewable energy integration. With over 20 years of experience, Dr. Altaf Badar has made significant contributions to the field. He serves as an editorial member of multiple international journals and has supervised two PhD scholars. His research output is commendable, with over 50 publications in international journals and conferences. Beyond publishing, he has actively contributed to the academic community by chairing numerous conferences and delivering more than 50 expert lectures. Additionally, he has authored 9 book chapters and 2 books. Dr. Altaf Badar is also a Board of Studies member in 3 engineering colleges, playing a key role in shaping academic curricula. His leadership in organizing academic events is evident from his successful coordination of a conference and a previous GIAN course. The ongoing GIAN course on the Internet of Things and predictive control is another testament to his dedication. With that, I now invite Dr. Altaf Badar to proceed with his session for today and share his valuable insights with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. To be very frank, I have also worked as a freelance programmer for 4 years. So I'm more so attracted towards programming as a hobby, and IoT gives us a idea, like it's a combination between programming as well as electrical if I combine it. So the fundamental is what I have learned over a period of time is, whenever you are teaching, one thing that I do more stress on is, it is better that the person sitting on the other side learn on their own. Self-study is far better than as compared to giving spoon feeding part. So what we will do today basically the sessions are divided into 2 parts. The first part would be just an intro to the IoT part, and actually we were going to have a case study in the second half, but I wanted some hands-on session on Arduino, so we have added Arduino programming into the course, and we'll have it in the second half for that. So today we'll start with introduction to IoT, and then we'll move a short introduction, because as far as I do understand, majority of the people have an idea as to what IoT is, and that is why they have opted for it. So basically what we will do is, we'll have a short intro to IoT, and please keep it in mind, like it's not a comprehensive course. I have considered, like we will basically take it to a smaller level. The higher parts would be left for you to explore, but we would touch the places which you can explore, and we will also touch the resources which are available, so that even when you are out of this, because 5 days is not going to make you an expert. To be very frank, I would say nobody is an expert in any field nowadays, because the changes are too fast, and it's impossible to master a skill in today's date. Whatever you say, you will find another person who's at a better position than you. So what we can do is, we can just share our knowledge, whatever we have, and we can explore the possibilities of utilization of IoT in different places of our research. Now basically, is it moving? Yes. So basically, let me start with an intro to NIT Warangal. It was established in 1959. It is one of the oldest NITs, and right now we are ranked at 21 for around 2 years now. and as university we are ranked at 53 again for last 2 years. We have been hovering around 19th rank to around 23rd rank, so average is still 21. In THE ranking for Asia we are in 351 to 400, and worldwide we are there, and we have got around 310 plus faculties across 13 departments with 7,000 students in place. These students are from outside India as well. In fact, one of my PhD scholars was from Ethiopia. So that is how it works here. It's still developing, we are still evolving, and hopefully we'll progress very fast. So I'll start with what is IoT, and I would also like to have some interactive sessions so that you will also not go to sleep. So and not make it very serious. It's a interaction which should actually be aimed to create connections and bridges so that we can continue this work further. So basically what I do is, usually whenever I start with any topic, there are 2 to 3 things that we should always think about. One is the definition of it. So Internet of Things, the definition is given as Internet of Things describes devices with sensors, processing ability, software and other technologies that connect and exchange data with other devices, etc. I basically go to Wikipedia first, because that is where my students will also go. Actually, it's in today's date, it's a fight between teachers and students, who's more technically advanced. So I have to show that yes, I am also using your techniques. So that is why usually I'll go to Wikipedia first to get the reference, and it probably defines all the things. But if we just think about it, why are we using IoT is basically to collect the data and transfer it. So for most of the applications that I went into and tried to look into, this is the majority places which I could find. But then I found one case study which we'll study also, where we will see that even analysis and processing is compulsorily required, without which it does not make sense. Plus IoT is like collection of data, that is what we already know. So I consider it as 2-part system, where the front end is probably IoT, hanging on with its reference, its sensors and all the collection mechanism that it has. And then on the back end, we have got the data storage, we have got the processing of it, and the analysis of the data. See, ultimately, this would lead to something called as big data, which was way back a keyword, years back it was a keyword. Now nobody uses it, because now those other terms have come in, like data scientists and data analysts and all of it. But to be very frank, I believe majority of us are from electrical engineering, and we do understand that electrical engineers were handling big data from years before, because the amount of data that is generated is huge. If you just go to the information related to the load flow, which I usually work on in a huge way. So if you just go into load flow, you will find that we are generating a huge amount of data that is there. And this is going to further increase like anything. This is going to go exponential now. Because what has happened is that not only is the power system expanding, but there are complexities coming into that. Around 10 years back, there was, hardly some people had some solar rooftops, wind, this, that, whatever it is. But now, and with the government pushing into it, giving subsidies into it, we find that everybody can now install solar plants on their rooftop. So just imagine the amount of data that we create into that is humongous. And this is only just one part of it, because that data you are able to access. If the utility also gets it on a on a minuscule basis, that how much each guy is generating, that would lead to a huge amount of information that would be there only because of solar. In fact, at one of the places I heard that in 2010 I'm talking about, Texas, probably the population is quite less than majority of the states in India, generated around 10 TB of data just because of smart meters. So this is a humongous information that you have, and this qualifies into the big data category where it is very tough to handle it. Now what happens is that with, I'll just give you some more examples also, because that is also necessary. EVs will also come in now. With we assuming that majority of the vehicles which would be registered by 2030, this is the government commitment and probably we will achieve it, majority would be electric vehicles. Now if electric vehicles come in, let us assume that we 19 people or 20 people are sitting here, out of us let us say 15 people have got an EV, majority of us will go home by 6 to 8 somewhere and we will plug on the EV. Each EV, if it goes to, on the normal side, 3 kW, you can just imagine the load that will increase suddenly in the evening part. So we need to control that also. There are many other things that have to be taken into consideration. Now when I am talking of huge amount of data, there is one more aspect that is very important that we should look into, and that is the WAMS, Wide Area Monitoring System, in those who are not familiar with it. Now this wide area monitoring system employs something called as PMUs, that is phasor measurement units, and these elements generate data at a very fast pace and you have to collect it. Now for all the non-electrical engineers, just try and understand, at every moment in time we have to manage this equation where we say that Pg is equals to Pd plus PL, that is the total generation is equals to the total load plus the losses. This has to be maintained in any cost, right? And we need to run a load flow which is iterative in nature, and we need to get the answers. Now if you just see the geography of India and the amount of electric network that we have, if you have ever attended any of the Grid India presentations, you will find they give you kilometers of transmission line that India has, and that goes into millions of kilometers. So we basically have to analyze all of it, run over it and give the results within fractions of second. So that is a tough task. Plus, as far as I do have understood through different interactions, what I understand is we are not moving towards the microgrid concept, which goes for smaller units of grids, but we are actually moving towards something like super grid, where we are also inducting other countries into the grid. Now this will further have issues for management and all of it, but anyways we are not going into that. I'll stick to the big data part. So IoT's back part would be the big data which you need to handle. So the best example is, we buy fruits and all of it and vegetables and we put it into the refrigerator, but if you don't take it out, the whole things that you put into the refrigerator is a wastage. So all of the data that we are generating, if it is not analyzed and processed, it will go into wastage. So anyways, we will not discuss how this processing happens, but I would suggest again that when you have free time and when you are back to your place, you go through something called as big data. There are free courses available online, even on NPTEL and all of it. Big data courses are available. Go through it to just have an idea, because if you have studied IoT and you haven't studied big data, probably it will not be helpful to you. So go through it. Then I would like to just go through in brief the history of it. Again, this is a little bit contradictory when we go from source to source. Anyways, history will not affect how it is going to happen, but just to have an idea as to how it works. around in 1960s and 70s, there were some early concepts that came in, and that is where the fundamental of it started. So there is something called as ARPANET that was a precursor, was developed in this duration. And then as we go towards 1980s and 1990s, as far as I do know, in India we still did not have internet in a full-fledged way at that time. But there were some protocols which were being developed and standardized over a period of time to enable proper communication between the devices. So even the net had come into place at that time. And then in 1999, it is said that the term Internet of Things was coined, and by 2000s, basically IoT had taken shape, and there were this RFID cards, which tags which had come into place by that time. And at one of the resources which I read, it said that by 2000s, the number of internet connected devices had surpassed the world's population. This is one of the things which we'll see in the coming slides also. This is probably from the computer science department, that they usually show as to how many devices and how many humans are connected to the net. So what we saw was, like in 2010 around, there was a rapid growth and development, and I believe that by this time approximately a huge population in India also had got smartphones. Around 2000 to 2005, India saw that there was a lot of phones, not smartphones I would say, but a lot of phones coming in, internet coming in, even though it was costly. Many of the people sitting here are research scholars, probably they might not have seen this phase, but we used to pay money to go and use internet in a cafe. It was not available in your phones and laptops. In fact, laptops I don't think I had seen a laptop by then. So the thing was, like, it was a little bit costly at that time. And then around, probably in Europe at that time, now there were some smart home devices that were coming in. Again, one of the very good examples for those who want to explore IoT is smart home management also. I had worked for some time on that part, but then finally I had to drop it out because you cannot travel in multiple boats. So smart homes are also a good topic if you want to explore later on. Now by 2020s, the time when we are in, we saw something like 5G networks coming in. In fact, now China, and they are already moving ahead and they are going with newer technologies. Ultimately, when you are studying IoT, it's a multiple perspective. You have to study communication as well. Without that, it will not work. So you need to study that part also. So then now there were some other concepts that had coming, like fog computing and edge computing. I'll cover that also if possible today. And then now one important thing that comes in, see, the fundamental is, in a class we don't get a feel of the things that are actually happening on the ground, but we should at least put it into our minds, and then when we are actually applying it, then we see it. When we go to the lab, when we go to the field, we see that no, this is wrong, this is wrong. And the best part is, I also teach Python programming in electrical engineering. The best part is you have to question. Till you don't question, you cannot learn. If you just follow what has been said, then it's like a repetitive task that you are performing again and again and again. But if you question the things, then there is a chance that you come up with some newer solutions. You come up with, in fact, newer problems also. So with this happening, there is another issue that came in by 2020s, and that is the standardization of the system. And why standardization is required is, one of the major reasons is security. Nowadays, we make a call, and before you are connected, there is a message from the Ministry of Ministry of Home Affairs, which says that beware of the fraud calls. In fact, even after getting so many messages, we are still, there are chances that we get duped. In fact, I got a call 2 days back also. So and I picked it up. I thought it is one of the participants, and I picked it up, and I was in a hurry, and he said, there's something has come from the police station, and I said, you please take care, and I just kept it. Then after 1 hour I realized that it might be a scam, but then it was already too late. I blocked it and all of it done. But the thing is, security is important. So in IoT, what is happening is communication will happen, and in communication there are two basic things which I have learnt over a period of time. One is intentional hacking that may happen, the other one is by chance that may happen. So in both the cases, standardization will help us to overcome the problem. I believe everybody would have studied that, parity check and all of it. So those are just the starting part of it. Then there are other things, and obviously in IoT we use multiple different methodologies for that thing also. In fact, I had conducted one session also for that, as to how, for our students, as to how the security can work out. So if possible, we'll try and go into that. Now, as I said, there's a very good part into this, that usually the devices and the humans are compared. So first ATM came in 1967, probably it was not here, but it came. And then you had, by 2008, there were more devices on the net versus the humans. Now, what has happened is, this will keep on increasing, and the reason is, what I have seen over a period of time is that, your shirt would be also an IoT device, your specs would be IoT device, your shoes would be IoT device. Now, as a power system engineer, still okay, but I don't know how others would be able to manage it. This is too much of data to handle. In fact, if you all have observed it, around 1 hour at least goes to remove the unwanted communication in our phones. We are used to it now. That is where I started with. We are already used to it. In fact, I recently attended one of the conferences, and they said now they have also integrated the social media information about the power system also. So they are capable of doing it. I'll give you one example, is like electrical engineers are, I think so, they are very versatile, especially those who are working on the ground. I won't count myself into that, but those who are working on the ground, the power grid people and all of it, they are really very versatile. They have to forecast the data, they have to run all the things, and they do it fantastically well. If you see over a period of time, those who would agree with me, we had a lot of power cuts earlier. Now, at least we don't see it here. If it is also there, it's like, a small period of time that we have a power cut for. So things are changing for the better, and with technology we should be able to handle it. The only thing is, at one place I read that technology is like a matchstick. It can burn a candle also and light the place, and it can also burn a house also. So how do we use it? It is up to us. And one more thing is, we need to protect the candle also. If we have lightened the candle, we have to protect it, because there are people who would want to just use it for burning of the house. So technology will obviously be going ahead, and we need to take care for it. But anyways, ma'am, I'll just come to you. If more devices are coming in, it will not be, maybe the loop may increase, but we are already handling it. So there are places, actually what happens is, I'll tell you, like PMU came in, I just mentioned PMU. PMU was very costly. So if you go to the time period of 2010 to 2015, there were researches done on how the PMU should be placed, where should it be placed, because it is costly, you cannot put it everywhere. The other way around now is that the costs have gone down, so we are putting it everywhere. Similarly, it happened with the batteries also. So if I put batteries into the database also, initially they were very costly. In fact, around, again in 2012 or somewhere, I had gone for a quotation, and half of the cost was for batteries and half of the cost was solar panel. Nowadays, it's not like that. So the things have changed, and what happens in power system is, when it is costly, we start integrating it. So when the numbers increase, we have to just increase the number of loops. That is it. And probably I'm not very familiar, but I think so with parallel computing we can achieve those things. So then by 2015 we had around 5 billion connected devices and 6 billion smartphones. Now I assume I do give some time every day, to some technical part also. So now this is in 2015. However, I would suggest that if you go by 2024, from now onwards, last year onwards, after the advent of ChatGPT and now DeepSeek and all of it, things would change dramatically now from here. See, in COVID we saw something which we had never seen. Nobody thought about taking classes from home. Not only taking classes, we took exams also from home. And we made sure that the students did not cheat at that time. We tried to make it sure. Now it has become a norm. I met the foreign faculty also, whatever way you meet him, but then after that to build a structure, you have to have meetings online and all of it. So now Google Meet has become a norm. It's like a normal thing. Many a times it happens that you are sitting in one faculty room, other guy is sitting in another faculty room, and we are still in the same Google Meet. We don't go and physically meet. So things are changing, but my personal thought process is that this would change in a big way in the next, by 2030 the world would be totally different. Because now, yesterday itself I heard something called as agentic AI now. And they say that it would leave around 30% of the jobs immediately redundant. That's a huge thing. And if they are speaking about it, I believe in the next 6 to 7 months or maximum 1 year, we would be seeing something like agentic AI. And what it is you just tell that thing that I want to set up a business on this thing, and it will do everything for you. It will even take your credit card details, pay for it, analyze the data that is coming, reconfigure the things, again do it properly, and in 48 hours it will give you a full report whether your business is feasible or not. In fact, I can take up a website and say that you create a replica of this website and it will do it. So website designers out of business, business analytics out of business, social media content providers out of business, and a lot of things. Fortunately, we may not go out as electrical engineers. I'm not sure about it, but fingers crossed. And the bigger part is, it also creates social media content on its own. So yesterday I saw something like, I'm going a little bit out, but it will keep you engaged. It's a good thing that you also know these things. 2 days back I saw something like ChatGPT can write poems. Yesterday, just before we started, I was in roaming around making arrangements and all of it. So I had some time. I said, let me try in ChatGPT whether it can write a poem or not. And it did write very well. I think it was better than what I could try on my own. So poets also out of business. Let's see what happens further. Anyway, so then now by 2020, this is still an old data. This is 2024. We had more than 50 billion connected devices. Now, connected devices does not mean people. These are devices which are automatically connected with the internet. This has got nothing to do with humans getting connected, right? It's not like when I use my mobile phone, it is counted as humans getting connected. But when there are devices which automatically get connected, that is what is counted here. Like if you have got a GPS on your car and it automatically is getting tracked, which will happen very soon, I assume, then that is your connected device. Your car is a connected device into that. So this is another data which I got, and the reference is given down there. If you see again how many billions of devices were connected, and by 2020 it gives the figure of 50.1 billion here. I'm not sure if you see here, it's 50.1 billion. And the curve is exponential. So you can just imagine what will further come in. So the thing is, anyways, this is not that important, but the point that I'm trying to make from the beginning is like, more devices, more data, more information, and humans cannot handle this much now. So going by the doomsday, let us come to now how we can use technology for our own benefit. That is more so important. Just give me a sec. Yeah. So then we go to something called as IoT variations. Variations in the sense is, when I initially went and started searching for IoT, it was all okay, fine. But then as I went into that, I found that Internet of Things is already old. It is already divided into different parts now. And what we do is that how it is tailored for different areas comes into that part. So now we have got some specialized things like consumer IoT is there, right? So with consumer IoT, what are we thinking of is like, refers to those IoT devices which are designed for some personal uses or for home use or something like that. That will go into the consumer IoT part. So what are the fundamentals here is, it is going to help me improve my lifestyle. I don't know whether it does or not, but the convenience would be improved. One of the examples I'll give you, there is a dustbin which is being used in, I think so, Google Home or Microsoft Home, I am not sure about it. And this dustbin has got a barcode reader kind of a thing. So if you have used milk and you throw that milk packet into that, it will automatically order another milk packet and it will be delivered to your house. So you need not do anything in that. So these kinds of things would be there. And then there are, smart home devices, like you have got smart thermostats. Anybody who has heard about this? These are basically used. Yes, exactly. This is for AC and all of it, you will have it. And then you have got smart lighting. Everybody has heard about it. In fact, in our biotech department, it is installed. You go to the toilet and it automatically starts. The light automatically starts. And then you have got smart locks as well. So lot of things coming in. And then in wearables, I need not tell you, I have already got smartwatches and fitness trackers and all of it. And then you have got smart ovens coming in. In fact, I have heard some smart plugs have also been brought in by some of the researchers, so that is also there. And then you have got, even in consumer IoT, we can count like those Alexa and this and that, all those things which can help me out in the working. And then another one is industrial IoT. Now this has been actually introduced as a full-fledged subject in many of the syllabus I have seen. Industrial IoT is taken up as a full-fledged subject with Industry 4.0 as a basis for that. Just a second. So basically this is now termed as IIoT, and it basically focuses on the industrial processes that are there. So there is another term that is now brought in. I'll go to that term later on in the slides. That is called as M2M. That is machine to machine communication also. So that machine to machine communication is also going to play a part in this IIoT as well. So as I said, it will basically move into something like Industry 4.0, and it will have sensors for production lines. We already had been using PLCs and all of it. I assume everybody understands that is programmable logic controllers, and that is used for if you are having a jam bottle factory or something, automatically the jam would be filled, sealed, and everything done. That is automation. But then now there are smart factories also which will come in, which will be able to actually self-monitor itself, right? And as yesterday our director sir said that predictive maintenance, I can actually go into this for whole 1 hour onto that predictive maintenance, but we'll keep it short. So there are a lot of things that may happen. In fact, I heard in Korea, I'm not sure about it, but they have kept like 40% now for robots. So in a factory, you can have 40% of the work done by the robots. In fact, they are making a compulsory part to that, as far as I do know. So this would be a different scenario altogether then. So predictive maintenance, I think so all those who are sitting as research scholars, this is a really good topic that you can expand into, and especially using IoT. Predictive maintenance is far more required than capital investment. Usually what happens is, 2-3 days back I was talking with someone from the hall only, I don't know, and we said investment is done, but maintenance is a problem, isn't it? Maintenance is a big issue. But if I know that this thing is going to go bad beforehand itself, I can go with predictive maintenance, and usually predictive maintenance will be less costly as compared to when the things have gone down. You can take an example of a bike you have. If you keep it, if you get it serviced from time to time, the chances of it going down is far less as compared to if you wait for it to go down. So that is where predictive maintenance comes in, and why I am putting more stress into this is, when we go to the power industry, especially the transmission side and the generation side, the equipments are too costly to replace, and to have an extra standby also is a big issue. So it is better that we go with predictive maintenance. It's not the cost of a car also, they are more costlier than that, and the problem is not ending there. If let us say a power transformer goes down, getting another power transformer and replacing it is a big issue. At one point of time, I was looking after some maintenance issues in some institution. The fuse that we used was this big. The cost of that fuse was 7,000 rupees, and it was available only in Bangalore. So we had to get it from there. Every time rains came in, because I had just taken over, so I did not know that part. Rains came in, the snakes would climb there, it would get short circuited, the fuse is gone. For at one point of time, we had to wait for 7 days to get the electricity back, because till the fuse is not there, we cannot move ahead. So if we cannot move ahead, we are gone till you don't have the equipment. If we go with some predictive part of it, it is far more easier. So that is where it will come in. And then there is one more thing, like connected logistics. I personally feel Japanese are quite ahead into this. They have got the supply chains which are monitored properly, and real-time tracking is done of majority of the things. Some of it you are also you might be seeing when you order in Amazon and Flipkart. It is they'll tell you. Even nowadays in our place, if you order the gas also, you can easily see when and where it will be delivered. So that is also there, but that part does not come in industrial IoT. This is for their industrial part. They have ordered raw material. Where is it? How much of it? Tracking of it. In fact, nowadays asset management is also one of the very important tasks which is there, because again, as I said, we have invested money, but is it being utilized or not? So that is also looked into. And then industrial energy management is also one of the cases. Let me go to the next one, that is commercial IoT now. So this applies to business sectors and public sector organizations to improve the operational efficiency and, mark my words, customer experiences, along with service delivery and all of it that you can count. Experience is now very important. Indian market is now moving not from the raw things. Around 2 months back, we had a presentation from one of the professors from I don't remember the university, but he said, earlier you buy coffees, you buy coffee beans, you can grind it, use it in your home. Then the sachets started coming in. So the coffee beans were less costly, sachets became more costlier. Then that coffee stalls came in. So now you can go there and buy coffee and eat it. And then now there is something called a Starbucks and all of it. Now you have got to pay 450 rupees for that same coffee, which you could have had at your home. So what are they selling is basically the experience that you feel. So, I'll tell you, there are two places which I have gone to personally here. In one place I go, and I buy my things for the whole month. They scan it with a very speed and they'll give it to you. Within minutes you are out of the counter. No long lines, nothing like that. Another one you go and they are very slow. The machine itself is slow and it takes time. You are standing in a line. Next month, where are you going to go? Even if that guy is a little bit costlier, you will go there because he's not wasting your time ultimately. So customer experience plays a huge role nowadays, and with IoT and all of it, we can streamline the things and analyze the things. Another example I'll give you, this is not related with IoT, but good experience will actually help you improve your business. So in one of the studies in US, in one of the marts, big wholesale marts, they found out that those people who were buying diapers were also buying alcohol. This is an unusual combination which was there, right? So what they did was, besides the diaper store, they put alcohol, and now their sales increased further. So whatever the reasons may be, even they could not find why that happened, but if you just go by that, you can understand that if you give a good experience to the person, you get more business. So IoT can help me achieve that thing. And then there is something called as I'll come to that later on. Let us go to something called as agricultural IoT. I'll not go into this detail. You can go to the internet and you'll find lots of huge case studies available on this. How much of water is to be given, when the seeds are to be sown, and you can sit in your home and actually manage the whole farm according to the agricultural IoT case studies if you just go through it. So I'll not put into much time into that. Smart city IoT, again, just there's one good term that I remembered. Agricultural IoT is also called as precision farming in many of the cases. Exactly how much is required, you just give it. When we say smart city IoT, this is a huge topic. Again, just because of its humongousness, I'll just leave it off. But from traffic control to cameras to this to that to waste management to drain management to whatever you want, everything will be counted into the smart city IoT. In fact, even to the extent of you can go with pollution management, and you can go with parking also. Every city has got this issue. If you see, there are some spots where parking is not possible. So this can help you get there. The next one, for all those who want to find a new topic, this can be it. Big, or you can start it as a part-time, research topic also. This has got huge applications. In fact, I have seen, youngsters coming out of BTech and starting their own startups on this. And they have excelled like anything, because ultimately healthcare is there to stay. Earlier, there were doctors, you go, they'll just check your pulse and tell you what is wrong with you. Now you go, before writing a first medicine, you have at least 10 to 12 tests, you have to go get those tests done. Then you come back. Then maybe they may write some medicines. It's not their fault, they have to be sure that they are not giving wrong medicines. But the thing is that if all these things are managed, you can obviously go into the details of it, maintaining the health history of a person, to wearables, to those devices which are with the doctors, to those devices which are there in the those centers, clinics. So let us say I go for some 2D echo or something like that. That report should automatically come into my account, and there should be a common account of mine all over the place. So whichever health center I go to or hospital I go to, they should be easily able to access my older history of what kind of medicines I have been using, whether I have diabetes, whether I have blood pressure, and what is my health history. Everything should be there. So this is a huge thing, managing this for 140 crore people. Just think about it. Big business. And already this is running quite well. Plus, you can extend it to having a smart hospital also, where discharge and all of it can be done automatically without the doctors being there. You can even go with something like remote monitoring and all of it. In fact, in one of the case studies again presented in YouTube, or I don't know, I actually use a lot of references, so I have a lot of examples with me. They say that, even when a case is reported and that guy's this thing is uploaded, automatically what will happen is that in the ambulance itself, they will start treating that person. Before that guy reaches the hospital, the treatment has already started at the place. And they say that if we do this, we can save around 70% of the casualties. So that's a big thing that is there. IoT in transportation, yes. This is what we'll go for the case study, so I'll not put much into this, but this is again a good topic. Anywhere where you can generate money and business, you can go with this. So there is something called as connected cars nowadays, and then there is communication between vehicle to vehicle and communication between vehicle to anything. That is, when we have communication between vehicle to vehicle, it is called as V2V, and vehicle to anything, that would be called as V2X, I think so. So that is again a good topic. Majority of the Indian companies are right now working on this thing, and if you go by Tesla or any other thing, you need this kind of a communication. You need sensors obviously, but you need other communication also. So if two vehicles are there riding side by side, and if they can communicate, the chances of them crashing into each other is quite less. Or even if they are coming from opposite sides, it's very less. So anyways, we'll see a different application of this into this in the coming hours. And then the topic that we do like, IoT in energy. So unfortunately I won't go into this, but you have got smart meters coming in very soon. Right now the meters that you have are probably not smart meters, right? They are digital meters. Initially we had those analog meters with the disk moving around, then we have got digital meters right now, and very soon there are already pilot projects going on for smart meters. Very soon we'll be having smart meters. For the people who are not familiar with this thing, smart meters is also a really good topic, and it has got a lot of roots here and there, from demand response to communicating with other devices, controlling of the load and this and that. There are a lot of applications which would be there. Then you have got obviously smart grids. You might have already heard of it, so I'll not go into the details of it. And then in some cases, if you know that in Dubai and all of it, they have got huge solar farms. They are now called as solar, not plants, solar farms are there. So with IoT, what I can do is I can check their cleaning part, I can check their orientation, I can check, and I can do whatever I want. I can easily work on it. So again, that is a very important thing. And then you have got something like, I have got many, so I'll just scroll through. So then the next one is wearable IoTs, smartwatches, fitness trackers, medical ones, and all of it. Next, my favorite, the military IoT, the battlefield things, IOBT, right? And why? Again, there are two reasons here. One, in India now the private companies have gone into defense manufacturing. The second thing is, we have seen wars where IoT and communication have been implemented. So there were cases, I think so, as far as I do know, and I'm not sure about it because those sources cannot be verified, but there were cases where that dog-like robots were employed in the recent wars, and not a single one, but number of those robots were employed, and they went into the fighting while communicating with each other. So a big possibility. Plus we have seen something like drones, swarm of drones, everybody knows it. So China has displayed it like anything, and I think so some of the cases where New Year and all of those celebrations were there. And then there are some more things like, smart uniforms also coming in. Maybe, camouflaging may be helpful for the soldier to survive at a given time. Maybe some medicines can be put on those wearables, and when he suffers some casualty, immediately the treatment can start by the uniform itself. So there are a lot of applications that can be there. Then you have got environmental IoT. I said that this is already a part of like smart IoT, so I'll just skip it. And then infrastructure IoT for you, Mukund. So sensors embedded in bridges, buildings, wherever there is wear and tear, water management, and all of it. And two more remaining, so I'll just cover it off. One is the retail IoT. So retail IoT and consumer IoT are quite related to each other, but in retail IoT, it's like about the individual stores which are there. You have got those, what do we call, shelves. In those shelves you have put some material. As soon as those material is gone, that you can get it. So there are a lot of applications there again. And the last, which concerns all of us, that is IoT in education, right? So in IoT in education, can anybody now tell me, because everybody is related with us with this thing, where do we apply IoT in education? One idea is to enhance the learning experiences, obviously the learning environment, manage the resources and all of it. But other than that, what can we think of when we say that IoT can be utilized? Invigilations, very good, yes. We already have got, in classrooms, yes, we can have those things. We can even, for paper, yes. Actually, in some of the, private colleges and all of it, when it is affiliated to a university, you have to go to the university and check it. And that is a troublesome job. So this would help us a little bit, yes. We can even look for some security purposes also and all of it. I'll try to wrap up it as early as possible, because then we'll go with tea, and then again we start with the case study and we'll try to finish it off. So IoT is now, I have, as far as my study goes, it connects multiple things. So I have written some characteristics here. Maybe I may be wrong, and you can comment on it. So one is, it is connection of different persons across time, right? And obviously it will connect people with each other, and it connects location also. This is again a point where, computer science people, ECE, electrical, civil, whatever you think of, can come together. By sitting in my place, can I basically observe the working of a particular location other than this? So in medical already this is happening, but is it possible like in electrical? So if I want to do it, or even in, we just saw like military, can we have it like that as well? So connection between locations, and then obviously connection of network which will happen, and then the different kind of devices that we connect across it, and the last one is type. When I say type, basically I mean by applications. Different kind of applications getting connected and enjoined with each other. So factors which I found which are used for which affect the evolution is, one is information exchange technology, which led to data transfer, which led to AI and big data, which led to monitoring devices. So this I started with this itself, that when we say that we are talking about IoT, we are talking about large data transfer, and I can keep on speaking on it, but I need to finish it off as well, because we need to go to the case study, where I would like you to, I assume everybody has a mobile. So we'll be using some mobiles to search some websites and all of it, and we'll see how it works off. So basically this is a circle kind of a thing, where the technology increases, the data transfer increases, AI big data processes are there to handle it, and then you have got the monitoring devices which will look into it. And then there is something like, this is available everywhere, and this is like a difference between M2M and IoT. Why I have put this slide is, I'll share this with you. Why I have put this is because M2M is considered as a precursor to IoT in many of the references. So machine to machine communication is considered as a precursor for IoT. However, if you see here, in M2M there is a direct communication between two machines, whereas IoT goes for a broader communication. Connectivity in M2M will be closed network, means all won't be getting the data, whereas in IoT you have got protocols. We'll see these protocols also. That is why security is more important in IoT. It's open. Wi-Fi is open. Anybody hacks it and you are gone. Then machine to machine is more simple, whereas IoT is more complex. Applications, we have got simple industrial applications for M2M, and IoT, it can be expanded. M2M would probably be also related to small geographical areas. IoT is not like that. And second last is obviously what I've told you. And then the user interface in M2M, it's minimum. Actually, when I read it first time, I got confused. Why? But it is minimum, because two machines are communicating with each other. They are already fine-tuned for doing this thing. So it's okay. The other thing is IoT, it is better adapted to handle all those things. Shabaz, we'll stop here, and I'll take the case study along with this in the next one, because this goes into now the technical part. So we'll see this in the after the break.